You're not going to throw the chemical balance off. It's a miracle. We survived even without knowing these things. We get born in a certain situation. We're not here because our parents are saints that we come in, and we grow up, and most of us get out of our family and go on with our life. But then as we're teenagers, when we start having our hormones come in, we're trying to do things to score, to get to prove we can have get a sexual experience or meet someone or other things. We're pushing the other limits. It's not wrong to push it. You're going to get the results of those limits. Some will be good, some will be bad. So do you have angry memories? Are you mad at your mom? Are you angry at the way you brought up, or things that happened that shouldn't have happened, or your brother got favored, or there was a sibling rivalry or something? All these things. The Mars, the aggressive factor, the pushing factor. Mom made me do it. You know, I had to get out of this. I couldn't stay in the house. I had to. It's just that, like, it becomes rowdy, and you don't notice it. You're just getting out of the house until you start getting close to someone else, and your aggression. Your instinctive aggression can be hurtful to another person. It can diminish the sympathy. Or if you're this close to me, I got to tell you what to do to make somebody bossy. Again, if you have the moon Mars, what do you need to solve it? You need to have a habit that's healthy, that channels the energy. So it could be dancing, it could be taking Pilates, it could be doing martial art. Martial art or Tai Chi is a great way to be physical and use the energy to get peaceful. But that doesn't make sense to a lot of people. We'll just use it to business. We'll push, we'll drive. I got to go make this happen. Got to do that. I mean, sales companies are looking for people who are this aggressive, who don't stop, who burn themselves out. But if you're asking for sympathy, or you're trying to cling on, or expecting someone to be more maternal or nurturing to you, it's going to have a cost. I was only trying to give you a hug. What are you getting mad for? I didn't feel like it. Come on. Then things blow up. You add a bit of alcohol or drugs or bad food or other things, it just magnifies. So, but Mars is putting the energy out. So when Mars is stressful to the moon, there's a need to eat right, to have good energy, to put out the energy, and there's a need for proper guidance. You can't try and get that person to be passive. They have to be directed in a way to use that energy where it can get things done but doesn't hurt people. I mean, in the old 100 years ago, chopping wood probably saved thousands of marriages. They can imagine, just go chop the wood, boom, 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 get rid of the anger, burn it off. Come back tired, issue resolved. Okay, so Mars was the most simple direct to see, that competitive, abrasive, aggressive factor. And it could be anger towards the mom or the home or the past. But you're going to remember the explosive, angry things. You're being in the moment, but you're remembering explosive things. It's easy to make explosive things happen if you're remembering explosive things instead of being peaceful and alert in the moment. This is really, in older India, they used to have, each planet was a yoga, but each aspect was a sub-yoga. So each of these factors were a challenge that causes problems out in the world, but at the same time, they were giving you a challenge that you're going to have to deal with for your lifetime. So you learn how to be inward and keep in touch with God, or keep your spirit inward while you have this. You learn the yoga of it and you become very wise and you can teach people. So each planet, each aspect has its own yoga. Each level of consciousness relating to another level of consciousness has a special yoga. I've never found books saying it's exactly this yoga or this exactly that yoga. I've seen references to it that made sense to me, and then I just learned to add it into my thinking as best as I could. So, okay. The challenge of being alert, enlightened, awake, alive is being 100% in the moment. Even if you're in a peak business, you're fighting in the Olympics, or you're doing something in a big business thing, you still have to be alert in the moment. So in that moment, you have to be totally there, not pulled back into your memories. The habits have to be in place, not with your mind going over which you got to be focused, not with wanting other different things or imagining how good you are. It just has to stay focused. It's This point of being in the moment is the healing point behind all the planets. But we tend to invest and indulge and put the planets out, and we don't hold in our inner presence with it. We make it, oh, that's something else, and it pulls us out. Then we have to get a whole bunch of lessons out there till we finally realize that was stupid. I got to come back in anyways. How do I do this? So with Mars to the moon, it's physical habits to take the adrenaline, take the energy or the impatience off. It's not go sit in a corner. Don't go sit there. Go sweep the shovel the walkway, clean the front yard. Go do something you wouldn't want to do. Go take the garbage out. Go do something. It's angry, but it does something. It makes things better rather than worse. The typical moon Mars, a moon Mars running to a moon Mars, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, bam, bam, and the adrenaline escalates. Then nobody even remembers what they did, but they were just mad at each other. It gets different by sign, because if it's in a water sign, these things blow up and it gets really emotional. If it happens to be in a earth sign, it blows up and it's done, forgotten about. The fire sign, done, forgotten about it, no festival. So like the qualities of the signs come in and add to this. So you're trying to make the moon just be the moon. You're trying to just give me a day of peace. Just let me get through this 24 hours and be here. And let me live good things so I have nicer memory. I've improved my memories for tomorrow. But the memory's saying, oh, I need this, I need memories pulling in and disturbing that. The thinking and worrying about these things, thinking about that. What would mom think? What's that? What I want is not the money to get that. How am I ever going to get that? What I have to do? Like Venus comes in and adds her 2 cents. Boy, it's hard to be confident when you got the whole family screaming at you. But then sometimes you just got to get away from them. We got to come. We finally build it up, and we're doing something. We get the confidence. Then once we have a bit of confidence, we can try things and succeed. If you don't have any confidence, you haven't taken the time to build up that basic energy. When you start competing with people, you're not going to succeed. When you might be just as capable as the other person, but you haven't done any discipline, haven't done any work, haven't built up your muscles, how are you going to compete? And many people get caught in an anger and a rage for years, and it can destroy their life. So anger management, when Mars comes into the moon, it's about anger management. It's about tolerance. It's sibling rivalries, fights with the mom. It means when you have an aspect in your chart, a difficult aspect in your chart, that aspect was going on between your mother and father when you were born, not a conception, when you were born. So it was happening between mom and dad. You picked it up. You have it for a lifetime. They got through it in a few days. The transits moved on and they had other kids or whatever. That wasn't so much real, but you're the reminder of that. But for you, you picked it up as, I want to come into life. I want to have all these aspects. I want to be this. This will work for me. Whew. So we get born, we come out of our mother, we come out of our backyard, and eventually we run into the rest of the world. That's not the same as mom. Sometimes, thank goodness. But we run into, we do things, we don't think we succeed, we fail. Everyone has successes and failures. The strong one goes to strong things. The weak ones have to understand a bit more and they use it a different way, but we all have energy to put. It can be directed in many different ways. But there's a need to get a lifestyle or habits that take care of that energy so you can build up good memories about it and feel better about yourself. That will build up confidence. Get kids out of a war zone. Doesn't matter where you put them, as long as they're sleeping, getting good night's sleep, they don't have to be threatened and they can sleep okay. They know the food's going to be there. It's easy for them to study. But if you're being shoved out into a room in a immigration camp or something where everyone's locked up and they just sleeping to get a bit of food, they know there's no support. There's no, there's a curiosity. Some people would learn, but the odds improve the more you take care of the basics. Same when we're older, in different ways. I mean, now we got situations where only the rich can afford the good food. Most people just barely getting by. They got to buy the cheaper food. Yeah, and okay. When we take Mars out, Jupiter is your understanding of your actions. Or more often your misunderstanding of, I did this, so what, I did this. Well, you heard someone, so what, they were in the way. Or what, Jupiter's the misunderstanding or understanding of your energy and everything you're doing, what you've learned from your experience. Now, if Jupiter, which tends to expand and magnify, or Mars for anger will exaggerate. Oh yeah, so it'll magnify the feelings in an angry or impatient way. Jupiter will exaggerate, so Mars magnifies and exaggerates, but Jupiter expands. I believe I'm right. I understand this. It's self-justifying. So when that exaggeration of all the opportunities come in, when Jupiter makes a stressful axis to the moon, Jupiter's supposed to be the luckiest planet. Really, more problems will come from Jupiter than almost any other planet. Because more difficulty comes from misunderstanding than from understanding clearly. And usually we're not perfectly saints and understanding, we're working on things that we're trying to understand, and we're running into people challenging these things before we really learned them all or assimilated it. So assimilation, digestion, expansion, and that outward reach, that's Jupiter. So you add Jupiter to the moon is your habits, your appetites, your diet, your basic way of eating. What's Jupiter do it? More. So Jupiter, like Venus, is another planet that inclines one to eat too much, drink too much, indulge too much, remember too much, get caught to remember, exaggerate the importance of mom or the importance of this food to have. It's another one that encourages drinking too much or eating too much or indulging too much or needing too big of a place or exaggerating the importance of your own feelings. My feelings are more important than anyone else. I feel this. So if your feelings are distorted, you think you can get by. I can do this. I can live this way. I can do it without having to be that disciplined. It tries it, and then you don't get as much accomplished. And in the meantime, a whole bunch of years have gone by. So misunderstanding in a family, more common than not. That's a Jupiter hits the moon. How do you understand your mom? How do you satisfy everyone? How do you take care of everything? How do you sit down? Why even bother getting up when you're super comfortable? Why not just watch a bunch of movies? So it can bring great laziness or great indulgence. Overweight, drinking, add drugs to the equation, it gets really complicated. But usually it's not something that makes someone thinner or more just what makes them, I'll try. You say, oh, let's try this. It won't hurt you. This is good with it, and tends to go with it. So they're very personally enthusiastic. But in that, there's the naiveness that doesn't have the discrimination. It takes on too much and has to shed things off. I used to think this way. I can't think that way anymore. But this understanding of who you're involved in, the team you're part of, the groups you're part of, is going to have effect on how you live. So if you're in a born-again Christian or Muslim community, and you're doing everything right, well, I got the understanding it's easy, I'm doing everything right, I'm part of it, I'm the righteous one, I can judge. But then if it starts going wrong or you start not being the most righteous one, the group is starting to judge you. It's how Jupiter's your understanding out in the world. The moon is how you're living day to day and the habits that you have, your diet, your assimilation, your digestions. So if Jupiter on every level, someone might exaggerate too much. They might have one chemical they absorb too much, and they might have an affliction for sweets or just bread or pizza or rice or whatever. Like, it's just what's familiar. But Jupiter is prone to expand. I want a bigger house. I want lots of kids. I want lots of food. It's not enough. The fight is with overexpanding. And how do you slow it down? How do you slow it down? How do you only have one dessert?